begin with public input.
Yeah. Gordon, did you get my email yesterday, and are you gonna bring the topic up today?
We'll be discussing some of that, yeah,
Okay.
part of our agenda.
The topic is the
I didn't get it, went to the wrong file, so.
oh yeah, no worries.
Okay.
I had asked Gordon yesterday. I couldn't find when the public hearing was for the bond. For the warrant article.
The public hearing for the bond.
We'll be discussing.
Oh, okay. It's not a bond, is it?
Bond loan note.
Anything over $100,000.
And also, Christy, I appreciated your email. Thank you. And I don't know if you had gotten my reply to you. I just sent you back an email. So I
Okay,
just wanted to say thank you for the email.
you're welcome.
Okay then, approval of February 18 minutes. Additions, deletions, changes.
I've got mine. Anybody got anything?
I didn't.
No. And the 10th and the 24th ones looked okay. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I had three
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
2 information sessions, which
Right.
were really nothing.
Right.
And the more important was the February 19th.
Right.
Yeah, no, they look fine to me.
Mhm.
Oh, you're doing a fine job.
Oh, thank you
Yes,
so
you're
much.
Very well, all those in favor? Accepting minutes of
Right,
presented,
the
aye?
second vote, right?
Yes,
Aye.
thank you. Treasurer's report.
Okay, as I've shown you, the CD matured on the 28th. I stopped in a couple weeks earlier, signed the paperwork that please put it into the savings account. At that time, she told me I could then come down and pick up the check and close the savings account. And for some reason, that old New England telephone ad occurred to me, call ahead, next time call ahead. So that on the 1st, last Thursday, I called and yes, the money's in the savings account and we'll cut a check. Well, she called back before I left, luckily. And while I was on the CD, my signature is not on the savings account. So I could not close the savings account. So it's like, okay, why am I driving to Farmington?
Mm-hmm.
So she mailed the check.
Okay.
And we have a $5 savings account at Holy Rosary Credit Union, which can be closed. Mary Ann can get her $5 back, or maybe we wait a few days.
Okay.
So as I showed you all, we got the check, but it's not my point of all this is I deposited it in March. So it's still showing as the CD on February reports. I mean, bottom line is the same, but it's now also I did the reports as soon as I got salaries, emailed them to you. Christy then saw Peter Slusky, so the capital reserve fund is more on this hard copy. So if I will re-email them out so that everyone has the official amount.
So the 417,425 is the true figure, right?
Is the true figure for February 28th,
February.
correct.
And,
I don't think there was anything else.
the roller coaster of his roller coaster of his fidelity is
Fidelity.
we're back on the upswing. As of yesterday, we
Yeah,
were
I assumed.
at 76,684 on that one.
Yeah.
76?
76,684.
Wow, these things are doing really well, aren't they?
Happened.
Otherwise, I don't think there's much else. Christy had to order the pledge cards, right? It was so I did take that from the building fund, and we had a donation to offset some other, oh, the brochures, the pamphlets.
Right.
Okay. So that's it. All set of that?
That's all I have.
Okay. Motion to accept the treasurer's report as presented. Favor aye? Opposed? Good. Librarian's report.
Okay, well, for statistics, if you look down, at the bottom of the page, you can see that, our ancestry statistics are back in order. And also Heritage Quest appears to be, that's pretty normal for that. Makes a big
So that
difference.
ancestry is just a February figure, that's not a cumulative figure of
No.
like usage.
That's
Okay.
just, no, we will never get back usage,
Okay.
those numbers are gone.
Mhm.
ProQuest, lost them for the entire state, so we'll never get them back. But I think, we can tell from what we have,
Right.
what it might have been, what it probably was. What else? Let's see. 17 new library cards in February. 10 of those were newborns. And the rest, I think there were 2 out of town and the rest were adults. Let's see, what else is interesting? Casual users are staying up. We only had 19 open days in February, so we did pretty well, statistically speaking. Is there anything else of note here? I don't think so.
Did you turn up the thermostat?
What?
Is the thermostat turned up in here, or is it?
Yeah, I just turned, you want me to turn it
Well,
up?
no, I
See
just heard that.
warmer.
I heard the boiler kick in, that's all.
Oh,
Let me go,
No, that's fine, that's fine.
well, if there's something wrong though,
That's true.
I'll call them, so let's try it again.
Thank you. Chilly.
Doesn't come up fast.
Yeah.
So just want to make sure I do these notes right. If Marianne's not here, you can vote. Correct?
Mhm.
Correct, okay.
Officially, input is always.
Yes, input always is.
And the thermostat's at 64, I turned it up before, and the furnace is on now,
Okay.
so.
Feels like 64 actually.
Really, it
oh,
does.
to me, it is warmer already.
Oh, keep it.
It's like how they started, 64.
Okay, I did an updated fast facts. Did I bring enough of those? I did, I think. Mostly to show the money. And this has the updated capital reserve number that Peter just dropped off. Do we match on ours? No? Okay. And confirmed private pledges is 181.6 as of the 7th, with the balance remaining to be raised or financed at $1,010,938 as of the 7th.
I am reasonably confident that we will be at $1 million or less by Wednesday.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Well, just with gifts of appreciated stock. Okay, my pledge, which I originally was thinking I was going to be doing in cash, I'm going to be doing in stock, which will not quite double my pledge.
Wow, that's great. And I know we're still waiting for another couple to come in
Well,
as well.
We have
Well,
two meetings
this-
today,
This,
so.
310 with fidelity by Wednesday should, because this was based on the
Yeah,
7th.
so that's only $1,000 difference.
Well,
Well,
but by
$1,000
Wednesday, it might be.
By
yeah.
Wednesday, as I say, I'm reasonably confident we're gonna be at $1 million or less. And I salute all those people who have come forward.
The Friends have also done a postcard just about town meeting
Mhm.
and to come, and I think some of those might have gotten out yesterday.
They did.
The rest are will go out today,
Mhm.
as far as I know. And the Friends are meeting this afternoon, so if there's anything that we need to convey to them, both of us will presumably be there and can take care of that. Let's see, in other news, we had a really great program on March 3rd with Sandra Maisey, SAUNDRAMAISEY,
DRA, what was the last name?
MAISEY. It was that was the laughter program. She had the entire room laughing. It was so much fun. It really was, just to be in here laughing. And we had a full house, which was lovely, and pretty typical for the lunch programs. Vicki made a wonderful lunch. She did the catering for us. You know, it was delicious. And I think that's about all I have for right now.
Okay. New business then. We have some problems pertaining to the vote on Wednesday. And the problems are twofold. First, the selectmen did not hold a special bond hearing for the warrant article.
I wondered why I hadn't heard about it.
And I've gone back to my memory, and I always, in our past efforts, I always was working on the assumption, correctly or incorrectly, that during the budget hearing, the official budget hearing for the town, when all the warrant articles are presented to that meeting as well, that constituted the bond hearing. Come to find out that that does not, that the selectmen had to hold one themselves, which I don't believe they did. That's issue number one. Issue number two is the placement of the warrant articles. Article 3 calls for the acceptance of the legislative body of redoing the use of the existing capital campaign, actually the capital reserve funds. Article 4, of course, is the vote on the warrant itself, on the building. It turns out those should have been flip-flopped. There's a meeting at 2 o'clock this afternoon at the selectmen's. The selectmen are going to be holding to discuss this, to go over any possible ramifications and or, if not remedies, how we're going to deal with it when if the vote and when the vote, I feel, is going to be successful, how we're going to have to deal with it. And there are legal opinions, I think, that have been out there, but until all those have been presented to the selectmen in a public forum, we really can't talk about it. So, but I will be going to that meeting at 2 o'clock, and I will certainly let you all know by an email after the fact what the decisions are going to be made. I'm a little bit taken aback that if the two warrant articles were not correct, why DRA would have approved the warrant in the first place. And that's going to be one of the questions I'm going to have to ask the selectmen, as well as how come the bond hearing wasn't taken care of. So, but I will be able to I'll let you all know later in the day what the decision is. If you guys are going to have a friends meeting, we'll be able to
Right,
time
you have
it
to
out.
do 24-hour posting for a meeting, correct? 24 hours,
24 hours for posting for what?
a meeting.
Yes.
So why can't we have the bond hearing Why can't the selectmen have the bond hearing on Monday?
because I think it's a matter of timing, so many days before the actual meeting. Max, would you like to add something?
Yeah, it's for the bond hearing, it's at least 15 days before the town meeting and not more than 60 days. So, and also the bond hearing has to have at least 7 days notice in a paper of general circulation. So for the bond hearing, it's very specific.
Okay, thank you.
So it's, as I say, it's presented an obstacle, and we're gonna have to deal with that obstacle and then move on past that, so. But as I tell you, as I say, you'll be hearing from me, as soon as that meeting is being held. Next was town meeting preparation. One of the things I wanna think about is that, in addition, obviously, to trustees who wanna speak, who else we might wanna think about asking to speak, I've got a couple of ideas. And I'd like you all to, come up with some names, and we can think about that as well.
And I know the Friends are doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There will be there's an email campaign that will be going out over the weekend to voters, urging them to, first of all, to attend town meeting, and more importantly, I feel, to support our cause. And then you guys can tell me what the Friends think about, and so on and so forth. And the last thing I had really is on the septic system replacement update. The good news is we're going to have one, and we're going to have it earlier than the building itself might be built.
So what are we gonna have?
Septic
Oh, the
system.
septic, yeah.
The selectmen accepted the bid from Scott Lane or Glaner Excavation.
That's the $13,000 one.
13,900, I believe, was the.
They weren't concerned at being so much lower than the others.
Jack Parsons reconfirmed all the bid specs with everybody, and I know personally all three of the firms that
Right.
came forward to do it. They're all reputable.
Yeah.
I contacted Andre and I said, based on, we had $155,000 in our budget estimates for earthwork. Okay. And I said, based on this quote, should we take a corresponding amount out of our warrant article based on the price of the septic system? Because if selectmen are going to be lowering the amount, the $30,000 amount for the
For the
septic
warrant
system, one way, the
article.
warrant
Right.
article, one way or another, to match the bid figure. We in turn, one of us can make the motion to lower our $1,000,000, not $94,000. I've got so many figures been going through my mind that it's kind of hard to keep on.
1.92.
1.92 by a corresponding amount.
Right.
But then the septic system that gets done before the building will come out of current taxes and not out of the building money?
It's coming out, it's a warrant article, okay? If we're successful with the building, okay, those dollars will come out of that warrant, that $1,000,009 warrant, okay? If it's not successful, the separate warrant article is out there to do it at, should be
Okay.
13,900.
Yeah, okay.
If one is successful, the second one becomes moot. That will be amended from the floor to, table,
Disregard, yeah.
take it down to $1 or something like that.
So I assume the selectmen have accepted this bid with the proviso that one of those two warrant articles passes.
Well, yes,
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
and if not, if they both fail,
Then
then it's gonna have to come out of some fund balance, because, we're not gonna allow, the citizens of the community are not going to allow a public building to be operating without a septic system for very long,
Much longer.
for
Well,
much
I
longer.
mean, I'm sure the state isn't gonna,
But the good news is based on the plans, and Andre says, yes, you can go ahead and do what you need to do, do what we need to do.
So does that mean I should subtract
no,
from this figure or not?
no,
No.
you need to leave it there. It has to be amended from the floor.
Yes,
Oh,
No, I would leave that right there.
okay, okay.
We're talking like $17,000 or something.
Mhm.
No, it's 13.
Now, will that,
13.
because
Well,
of
13,
that,
but we
I mean,
going
and
for
this
30.
is just.
Just
silly
have a
Oh, I
question,
see what
but-
you mean, yes, right.
Because they accepted his bid
Yes,
to do it.
yes.
Okay, so the library warrant article passes. Is Andre then bound to have him do the septic?
I would believe it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
I would think so.
But I'm sure that he would be most anxious to, get in there and do the whole piece. But the location of the septic field is far enough away from the building that we can do it, and as long as it's properly staked out below frost line,
Right.
marked clearly, we can do it as soon as the weather breaks.
That would be welcome.
Yes, yeah. As I told the selectmen, I said that people in the community would be glad to know that they can go and flush with abandon once again,
Really, change a few diapers without any.
wash their hands. And that's about all I have.
Let's go back to who should speak for a second. It seems to me who should speak we should be just discussing which of us are going to speak.
Well, I'll stand up and make the pitch. Okay, I've been working on it for a long time.
A couple of years now.
Well, I've had several. I can go back and edit.
Right,
and,
right.
And I plan on spending most of Tuesday here, and we can go over it and that sort of thing. And anybody else wants to talk, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, the friends are,
Mm-hmm. I'm going to ask Jack Widner if he would stand up and talk about tax implication, because that's his thing. I would like to recruit some people who are not necessarily quote unquote library people. There are a couple names I have in the back of my mind, but I will ask them privately before putting their name out to the social media world, because they might not be comfortable doing it, and I don't want to pin them down. But a couple of the people I have in mind, I think, are very good speakers for the cause, very well thought of in the community.
If we can get the balance to be raised / financed to $1 million or less before town meeting, then how does that affect payments? Because that would be good to know too. Because what we're saying right now is at 2 point.
well,
That's still,
Yeah.
that is still in the hands of the selectmen. They are the ones to determine the length of the note.
Jack for some reason liked the 7 year. I don't know why. I would have gone for the 10, but he liked the 7. But again, as Gordon says, it's the selectmen's call.
And with everything else that the town could be dealing with, I would opt. Normally, I opt for the longer term because it's the time value of money.
Mhm.
But whereas we are now at well, that's very interesting, because we're still showing that if not another penny came in right now, based on lowering the cost, the estimated cost for the septic system, we are at $1 million.
Basically, yes.
We are
A little
below $1
less.
million right
We're
now,
below
because
$1
you took balance to be raised financed of $1.010 million, and you take $13,000. We are less than $1 million right now.
That's right.
Yeah, but back to the septic. Do we really take it out?
That's what I don't get.
I don't think so, because if the library passes with a new septic system, then the warrant article for the septic system is mute.
I understand that,
So-
but if we were carrying a dollar figure of $155,000, including the septic system, and we know that it's now going to be that
Oh.
much less,
Okay,
that's my
okay.
point.
All right, it's not that you're taking
You're
it
not
out,
taking
you're
the money,
reducing
you're
it.
taking,
Sorry,
you're
Court.
taking
No,
the
you're right,
difference,
you're right,
the difference between the anticipated
Yeah, you're
and
right,
the real.
you're right,
So-
sorry.
But one way or another, we're going to have a new septic system.
Yeah.
For less money than what they thought, which I think bodes very well, because If that's gonna be less, maybe all the earthwork could be less.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, you know, it's important for people to remember that the warrant article calls for borrowing a certain amount, like up to, but not necessarily to that amount.
Mhm.
And that's the beauty of not doing business with a bond bank, doing business
Right.
with a bank,
Right.
is that you're essentially taking a construction mortgage.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you don't need it all, you don't borrow it all.
Right.
So,
Okay, I talked to the municipal association. I don't have the answers. This guy called me back late on Wednesday and said he was emailing the information to Karen Koch. And I was gonna get it from her since I thought the storm was gonna end yesterday morning, but it didn't. And the offices were closed. Anyways,
the answers are out there.
they're out there.
They're out there. However,
Do you know what the answers are?
I know what the answers are,
No.
but I also know that because they have not been presented to the selectmen yet, it is a legal opinion, and it has not been presented to the selectmen yet. I'm not at liberty to say,
Okay, so those.
but we will be at 2:00 this afternoon. So it's just the timing of the meeting rather than. So,
Okay.
and that's about it.
I actually have a little old business.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. This is about the interlibrary loan system for the state, which is still inoperable. So the volume of email every day is incredible, and we're doing our best to keep up. Everybody is all over the state, and we're figuring out some interesting workarounds. The state library has vetted a new ILL system. Ursa, the one that we had, is just, it's dead. It's gone. It cannot be resurrected. So there's funding. Funding was approved by the legislature, miracles,
Yeah.
to buy a new ILL system, but we're not there. And I don't know how long it's going to take. So filling interlibrary loans, when we're a net lender, not a net borrower, is taking a lot of time because the requests are coming from individual libraries, and some people are just doing blanket requests. So we're dealing with that as best we can, but it's going to continue for at least another couple of months, presumably. We're doing the best we can with it. And I think we're still, if you look at ILLs, I'm looking at your report and all that. If you look at ILLs, we borrowed 82 in February, and no, it's not even on here. We're usually 2 or 3 times more what we send out than what we borrow. We're a net lender, not a net borrower. So that's affecting things too. Also, I didn't have Heritage Quest statistics for January. In January, I have them now, so that corrects the January total circulation as well.
Okay. The other thing we have is that we have our last public information meeting tomorrow at 10:00
Oh, right.
here.
Yeah.
We will be doing it as we have the last two, but of course, based on this afternoon's information from the selectmen, I will also include that as part of the presentation.
Right.
To say, this is what we're dealing with and how we're going to deal with it. And that's it. That's about all I have for this morning. Anybody else?
All right, motion to adjourn?
Second.
Made. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Thank you.
Wow. Well done, Noel.
Your hand's okay.
I'm gonna check my mail.
Yes, there are a couple of things in your box.
Okay.